Okay, we need to talk about it. What should I play, the 9th Age 3.0 or Warhammer the Old World? Since the release of the Old World, the community has been split again. It reminds me of the end times. And since then, the 9th Age has released 3.0, their core rule set rehaul. I have had the opportunity to play the GT both in the Old World and in the 9th Age 3.0, and I've come to certain conclusions. The thing that the Old World players don't want to hear is their rule set is less than perfect. And the thing that 9th Age players don't want to hear is this game we play is so much more than just a rule set. Let's see what we can find out. Okay, I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to continue to play the 9th Age in 3.0, and I'm going to be playing the Old World. Hopefully I'll be doing battle reports on both. And honestly, these two games are within the same small niche of the board game community. Board games, miniature war games, rank and flank miniature war games. And even though this is a small niche of games, people play these games for multiple different reasons. As a tactical war game, as a collectible or hobby activity, as a model painter, or just a reason to hang out with your friends and roll some dice. And to understand this dynamic and the dynamic between these two games, I guess we need to go down the road of my Wargaming journey. I started playing Warhammer Fantasy Battles with 4th edition. In elementary school, where my best friend Chris and I picked up the starter box, he took the goblins, I took the high elves. Chris, you're the man. At this point, there was no tactics, there was no even following the rules. We were just rolling dice and having fun. Which brings me to my first criteria. Fun. Then when 5th edition was released, I saw those lizardmen and I'm like, man, that is the army for me. They are cool as shit. And I guess this is where my hobbying journey started. Painting those first miniatures, deciding what my army looked like, creating lists that featured the models I thought were cool. Man, that was fun. Then the blank spot of 6th and 7th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battles where I focused on other things than playing board games. Then 8th edition dropped and I got back into Warhammer Fantasy Battles. And I started going to tournaments with my friends. This is when I got into strategy and tactics and trying to win the game. I guess I consider myself more of a gamer than a hobbyist, but to be honest, no one likes a person who wins at all costs. And I hope that's not me. Then the End Times game. And Games Workshop decided to end Warhammer Fantasy Battles. It wasn't a good time. And the realization that these games are controlled by companies, and the choices these companies make really affect my enjoyment of the games. With the end of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, the 9th Age began, a community-built game, which picked up where Warhammer Fantasy Battles left off. And this brings us to my final criteria, balance. The 9th Age's primary focus was balance, so that's where the game really shined. And finally, the now times. The Old World is here, the 9th Age 3.0 is here, and I guess I'm playing both of them? So let's break down each game with my 5 criteria. Number 1, fun. I know this is a very ambiguous criteria, but these games just need to be fun. Remember when we first started playing these games and the joy of just rolling the dice with your buddies was so much fun? That's the foundation of us playing these games, to be honest. I think both the 9th Age and the Old World are fun, but the Old World takes this category because nothing can really compete with tapping into that nostalgia of when we first started playing these games as kids. And honestly, this is what I'm most excited about with the Old World. People are genuinely excited about the game and eager to get their models back on the tabletop. Criteria 2, hobbying. Light. Hobbying has always been a part of these two games, and it really needs to be. Because these games are kind of more than just games, they're complete hobbies, with many different activities all wrapped into it. To be honest, I'm not much of a hobbyist, but I still really enjoy it. I'm not a great painter, but I still paint. And probably my favorite thing to do with hobbying is to use themed lists, or fluff lists. I love making a list with a certain characteristic or a certain unit type as the focus, and trying my best to make it tactically sound. The winner, again, is the Old World. The primary focus of the 9th Age has always been the tactics and the balance of the game, so hobbying kinda got left by the wayside. And the hobbying in the old world community, with the decades of stories and lore and artwork and models, it's very strong. Criteria number 3, tactics. And this comes down to one simple question. Should these games be strategy games or hobbies? In my humble opinion, it should be both, but it should lean toward a strategy game. But honestly, I think I'm in the minority here. And between the 9th Age and the Old World, the 9th Age is really the winner. Their focus on balance and strategy allows me to play almost any list, including fluff lists, in a competitive environment, which I really, really enjoy. Criteria number 4, company goals. Is Games Workshop a good company? It always comes down to one question for me. Are they crossing that imaginary line where their decisions benefit the bottom line and don't benefit the player? Now, most of the time decisions do both of those things, but sometimes they don't. In my opinion, Games Workshop has been crossing that line for a very long time. Case in point, the end times, the base size change in the old world, selling us old models at a higher price, and the fact that their models, even though they're very high quality models, have the highest price point in the market. Okay, mini rant number 1. I just watched Dungeons & Dragons fans rise up against Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro and make a real change with their game. I mean, it's yet to be seen if that really pans out, but they got results. Why do the majority of Games Workshop fans continue to be customers even though Games Workshop is treating them this way? And while I think Games Workshop has crossed that line for many years now, the overwhelming majority of our community does not think that, as seen by Games Workshop's continued popularity and increased sales. And I am a firm proponent of speaking with your dollar. Buy the games you want to play. Now, on the other hand, the 9th Age has a company structure that seems perfect on paper. It is a community-built game, selling no products, and all the rules are free. All they do is distribute PDFs of the rules and sometimes endorse other model-making companies. In theory, this only gives motivation for the developers of the 9th Age to create the best game they can make. But in actual practice, the 9th Age might be a too many cooks in the kitchen situation. With version 3.0 coming out, the drastic changes in the rules are wild. And without a dedicated income to produce lore and artwork and all of the things that surround our hobby, the game can sometimes feel hollow and not as rich of an experience as other games. Now, don't get me wrong, what really makes a game great is the community, and the 9th Age friends I have made through the years are invaluable to me. Criteria number 5, balance. Now, in reality, balance in these type of games is straight up unachievable, but it's still necessary. There will never be a perfectly balanced tabletop war game. If we wanted that, we'd just go play chess. And this, as I've said before, has been a priority for the 9th Age. And they have done this by constantly tweaking the point values of every army, which can be annoying sometimes, but in the long run, it creates a better game. On the other hand, Games Workshop has never had a priority on balance. People keep telling me, oh, they're doing so great now, they're doing it. No, they're not. And throughout Games Workshop history, balance has been an exercise of the community through comp. Okay, mini rant number 2. Why are we paying a premium for this game if it's incomplete? As in, we're paying a premium price for a game that feels unbalanced. And when I say unbalanced, I mean certain armies that you can choose to play will win a much higher percentage of the time than other armies. I mean, right now, it's Bretonnians. And back in 8th edition, Beastmen and the Bretonnians were almost unplayable. But also, I mean internal balance. There are magic items and characters that are auto-include in armies. And also magic items and characters that are auto-not include. Which in my opinion is a bad feeling for a game. Alright, so what's next? As I said before, I'm going to be playing both games and making battle reports for both games. But if it came down to it, and I had to choose between the 9th Age and the Old World, I would probably choose the 9th Age based on what I want out of the game. But the other component to this is you need a community. I need other players to play against. And in my community, New York City, basically no one plays the 9th Age anymore. And a lot of people are starting to play the Old World. I still want to play games with my friends in my community. So I'm in the position where I'm going to be playing the Old World, even though I want to play the 9th Age, because that is what my community is offering me. It's a bit of a strange feeling. Again, not a bad feeling, but strange. And I will be continuing to travel for weekend tournaments. Definitely to some 9th Age tournaments. Honestly, I want to leave you on a positive note. I'm excited for both the 9th Age 3.0 and the Old World, and to produce content for this YouTube channel that you guys hopefully enjoy. But what it all comes down to is who is still playing Age of Sigmar?